before. Oh my god, the pilot. That title is freaking awful. Unless it's going to have something to do with someone being a pilot or a spaceship or a plane or something. This is such a terrible title. At least for Series 10, if it was Series 1, it would probably be okay. It's also been the title of the unofficial, unbroadcast pilot episode, shown in 1991 after it was found, and the original planned transmission for 1963 replaced by, of course, An Unearthly Child, Episode 1 of An Unearthly Child. So, to use the title of the pilot now as the start of Series 10, it may be Series 11, but Series 10, before everything goes over to the new showrunner, no, I don't care if it's a reboot, I don't care if you're being naughty, Stephen Moffat, just, no! It's not going to affect my viewing of the episode, but the title is just, I just hope they use it to an advantage in the episode. After. Stephen Moffat, you've done it again, you cheeky, clever man. Very, very well tying that pilot's title into the actual episode. Very clever, very misleading. Well done, Stephen Moffat. Well done. You've proved it again that you can still be a little bit sneaky and clever. Time for the review. Hello everyone, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 10 Episode 1, The Pilot. And this will be the one and only review I'm doing for Series 10 on Whoniversals, but don't worry, I'll do the rest on my own channel as planned, and I decided just to do the one for the pilot, so it's just going to be this one. So, The Pilot. Now, a little confession. I was not a fan of the title when it was announced. The title was originally A Star in Her Eye, which is a great title, but it was then changed to The Pilot, which indicates a brand new start, or as Stephen Moffat put, a reboot of the channel, even though we'll be getting that again next year with Series 11. But to call it The Pilot, yeah, it doesn't sit well with Series 10, especially considering that it should have been used for Series 1 if it was going to be used at all. Series 1, of course, it was Rose. And the fact that it was the title of the pilot episode when they broadcast it in 91. The original pilot episode called An Unearthly Child, just like the first episode of An Unearthly Child, the story. When they didn't broadcast that, they didn't broadcast the original version, but in 1991 they did show it when they found it, so they just called it the pilot episode, even though it was called An Unearthly Child, but it's referred to as the pilot episode, the untransmission version, and you can view it on the An Unearthly Child DVD, and it's the first one, and then you have the actual story afterwards, so the first episode plays is actually the pilot episode, not episode 1. And then you'll get to that afterwards, and then you'll get to see episodes 2, 3 and 4. But yeah, being Series 10, it didn't fit having this title called The Pilot, unless it was going to have something to do with a pilot on a ship or a plane or something. And in some sort of case, it does work now with the revealment of what it does mean. The pilot, the kind of alien race, getting a pilot in the form of Heather to pilot its way around the universe. Now onto the story. The story is pretty great. It's basically a character development story. And yes, I can agree we get more character development with Bill in one episode than Clara in about 2.5. Although Series 8 Clara got more developments than 7B and 9. And yeah, it's basically looking at Bill, how she, from her first personal interview with the Doctor, at the very start, to personal tutorials and her daily life, or parts of her daily life. Alongside it, we see her serving chips in the canteen as her job. We see her attend some of the Doctor's lectures. She sneaks in, and that's how the Doctor noticed her. We see her and her stepmother interact, and also interactions with Heather prior to becoming the pilot, and also when she discovers the puzzle. Also, it's interesting to see how her relationship with the Doctor before knowing he's an alien is developed, just as a tutor kind of thing, and also friendship with Nardole. Actually, no, there's only a few meetings between the two. They don't think they become friends until a bit later on, if they are already. If not, they're becoming a bit later on in the series. The Doctor and Nardole seem to be on Earth for a mission, and they've been there for a good couple of years. The Doctor at least 50 to 70. And there's something behind those doors, or something that they have to protect from something. And they thought that the pilot, the water creature that took the form of Heather, wanted it, but turned out not to. So there's something important behind those gates, doors. So we'll hopefully see what that is. That might be our series arc for the most of the series. Might have something to do with the Cybermen or the Master in the series finale, or the Truth People in the mid-series three-parter. There aren't that many characters, really. It's a main focus on Bill and her relationship with the Doctor and Heather. A few interactions with Nardole and her stepmother. Not stepmother, foster mother. Why am I doing that? Stepmother might cause some more interaction, conflicts, stories to end, but foster mother sounds pretty good as well. See how this pans out. Again, there isn't much in this episode dealing with that. There's a few bits. We get to learn about Bill's mother. That's little, and developing the... Of course, once Heather becomes the pilot, so to speak, that's where things really get a bit interesting. Interesting more, but really the plot starts to kick off a bit more. But this is probably about halfway through the episode, and then the Doctor takes Bill into the TARDIS, and that was a brilliant shot. Matthew Moore wanted me to mention this. The shot where it pans back from Bill at the doors and it reveals the TARDIS with the lights coming on and the Doctor running downstairs, and just the simple hum of the TARDIS just before the lights turn on. That was brilliant. That was one of the best TARDIS revealment shots of the entire show. I don't think you get that sense of revealment much in the classics, and maybe the first time where you never saw it before. But once it got to the new series, the revealments, especially in Series 1 and now this series, that was great. Yeah, brilliant shot. I love the humming before the lights come on, and I liked how the music kicked in once she turned around, rather than before. So, yeah. What would be even better was if it was a new TARDIS set. So if they did something like this next series, but with a new set, like in the Snowmen or in Rose, that would be great. Just they really keeping the mode. Snowmen did a great job of doing it. I think we can do even better next series. Let's hope. So something on the lines of Snowmen and this one, but with the revealment of a new TARDIS, which I think is more than likely for next series. Everything's going to be brand new next year. Maybe even the Daleks again, hopefully. And we'll get down to those later. First they travel to Australia. Sorry, that was a bad impression. Australia to Sydney. They aren't there long. It's a couple of minutes. And then they travel in time to another planet. They aren't there for long, but the Doctor and Nardole kind of working out what's going on. And the pilot catches up to them quite quickly. But not as quickly as in Australia. And so they then head to a Dalek spaceship. The Dalek Muvalan War is going on. Apologies if I said Moran. Maybe I meant Muvalan. Yeah, Muvalan. And which of those robots the Daleks were fighting in the 1979 story Destiny of the Daleks. And this episode kind of takes place, or at least that scene, between Destiny and Resurrection of the Daleks came out in 1984. Which is strange considering you got the bronze Daleks in these ones, whilst in 79 you had some grey ones and even darker grey ones in 84. I suppose it doesn't really matter, any of the Daleks will do. Maybe the Whoniversals are having another war. It's a shame we didn't see a story where they developed that, what was it, a cure? Not a cure. Virus. They developed a virus for Resurrection of the Daleks' story that wins them the war, but in this story it's the Daleks that are getting the upper hand. It's a shame they didn't get mentioned as the Whoniversals on screen. It's more of a fan-pleasing moment, rather than anything else. If they had been mentioned, or if they're going to come back and be mentioned, like the Autons, that would be great. Yeah, the Autons didn't get mentioned on their first on-screen appearance in the new series. They didn't. When they returned in Series 5. So it will be something like that. And of course, Pilot Creature gets there, and Nardole has to secure the Daleks away, and Pilot becomes a Dalek. She kills the Dalek and then becomes one. And this is similar to, some of these scenes are similar to the Friend from the Future minisode shown last April as an introduction to Bill, which was pretty good, which feels like an extended alternative version to a couple of these scenes. Again, something similar to the pilot episode. And that was that introductory scene was pretty good, but the way it was handled in this episode, the reduced amount of scenes, a reduced amount of information, a couple of changes in positioning, and the fact that it wasn't even a Dalek, and also not using shots from Into the Dalek, although they did use a shot from the Doctor's wife that they actually did incorporate into the episode. I think that was going to the planet. So they actually took one of the shots from the Doctor's wife. Not only did they use it in the trailer, but they actually used it in an actual episode. But it's still nicking from the Doctor's wife, which is one of the best episodes of Series 6. Maybe even the best episode. Into the Dalek was a good one from Series 8, and Destiny and Resurrection were pretty good Dalek stories from their times. Not the best ones from their series, not the best Dalek ones, but pretty good. Controversial opinion, I would take Destiny over Genesis of the Daleks any day. Unless it was a Genesis of the Daleks celebratory day or something. And also I'd take Revelation over Resurrection. And Destiny and Genesis. Probably take Resurrection over Genesis and Destiny. But Remembrance is the best. Holly will be pleased. So finally, Bill and Pilot. Bill had asked the Pilot not to leave without her. Well, asked Heather. She didn't know it was Pilot then. That was kind of a promise. So Bill then tells the Pilot she doesn't have to keep the promise anymore. And so the Pilot just goes, and Bill is offered a place to travel in the TARDIS. Well, after an attempt to mind wipe her scene, and then the Doctor is told silently by his pictures of Susan and River Song and the TARDIS, which isn't silent, to take her on as a companion, and which he does. He's now taken on Bill as a companion, and Nardole's going to be a companion in a few more episodes. Yeah, he was pretty good. Not great. I think he needs to develop a bit more. He did some good stuff in Doctor Mysterio, and he did some more good stuff here, but I think they need to expand his character a little bit more when he comes back again. So, yeah, what did I think of the pilot? That was a great episode, great introduction. It's one of the best ones, certainly the best since the 11th hour. Stephen Moffat ones have been okay, they haven't been that great. I prefer the Russell T Davies ones, minus New Earth. That was okay, but really the main that was the start of Series 2, but Christmas Invasion felt more of a beginning episode, and that was a Christmas special. But that was the start of the 10th Doctor's era, so maybe if a Doctor's era starts at the beginning of a new series rather than a Christmas special, that might help them So we'll see what Series 11's like. But then again, I would like to see them starting a Christmas special again. See how that rolls. So, yeah, this was a great episode. Mostly a character piece, but the plot does pick up about halfway through when they actually go travelling for a bit. There is plot there threaded throughout, but it doesn't really surface until a good chunk through the episode, and then you have a bit more before you get to that jumping, and then even then you've still got to travel a bit and do some more stuff before final confrontation and the last few minute details. I think this episode's about 50 minutes really, but overall it's a great first episode of Series 10. It's kicking off what's looking to be a more hopefully more impressive series than the last couple. Although I really like Series 7, it's not really the best. I think a lot of people don't like it because of that. But it's still a pretty good series. Series 8 was great, introducing the 12th Doctor, and 9 was pretty good, but the writing was starting to get a bit stale by Series 8, 9, and hopefully this fresh new opener for Series 10, especially now we've got a new companion after 2.5 series of Clara, which a lot of people didn't like. I do like her, I think she's okay, so does Jean. But yeah, it could have been a bit more character development in other places aside from Series 8. So yeah, the pilot is a great episode, starting what is hopefully going to be a great Series 10, hopefully the best since Series 5, the best series, or then again Series 1 is still the best. So I'm going to give the pilot 8 out of 10. Yeah, I'm probably the most positive, I think along with Travis, the most positive score for this episode. If you saw the Twitter post, Matt complaining that it ruins the score and the review and everything. I don't think so. I think people will just watch the review anyway. But yeah, great story, great start to Series 10. Looking forward to the rest of it. Even though the next episode's got the emoji bots, we'll just cross our fingers and hope for the best. And it's looking pretty good. So, yeah. Tune in next week where you'll see Ollie review Smile on the Whoniversals. And on my channel I will also do my own reviews. So I'll see you guys then on my channel. And on Whoniversals I will see you after Series 10. Although I might do 1 or 2 other videos in between. But for reviews I'll see you after Series 10. And yeah, Nick over and out, and I will hand you back over to the other guys for some more Series 10 fun. Hopefully. This recording is before episode 2 is aired, so we'll see how it goes. Right, I'll see you guys next time, whenever and wherever that may be.